Good afternoon in Houston, Texas. How are y'all doing? I'm here to answer any questions that y'all might have. If it's a procedural type of question, I'm happy to answer that. Or, of course, any news about immigration in general. So if you leave a comment, or if you do have a question, please leave a comment, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Happy to answer that for you. And what I like to do for any type of live show is start off with sharing any news from the Department of State, because a lot of people have a similar question in terms of when the heck are they gonna, or when the heck is the consulate or embassy open? And so a lot of people have been waiting for the visa interviews, whether it's diversity visa, the immigrant visa for residency, green card, or even fiance visa. Those are really the top three categories of people asking us. But of course, if you have a question about something else, please definitely let us know. Today, I also like to share a little more about what President Biden talked about and what does it mean about what he talked about at the State of the Union a couple of days ago in regards to immigration. And so in the meantime, if you do leave a comment, let us know where you're watching from. I'm always excited to know where you're watching from. And, some people may even have questions about if you're eligible for a type of immigration benefit or a work permit, or, how to do something. So we're happy to answer that. If it's very specific to your situation, of course, the best way to get in contact with us for a one-on-one discussion is our phone number right there down below. But if you have time, you're at a computer or something, fill out the intake form down below. It starts with Ting Law. But otherwise, if you do have, free offer for y'all. Since y'all watching and subscribe, follow us. We do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion for y'all since you're subscribers, and follow us on Facebook. You just give this not so secret code, Green Card Guys. We greatly appreciate it. Even if you're at work, text it to us, and our cares team will call you when you're available. Just let us know when you're free. All right. So in the meantime, let's see here. Oh, Tommy, thanks for joining the show. And of course, if you have, what's it called? If you, oh shoot, that just slipped my mind right there. Okay. So I wanted to show you here. I've got a lot of tabs open here. Any news about the DREAM Act? So that's what I'm scrolling through. I have a couple tabs open for congress.gov. And I want to discuss, there's even a bill about home ownership for Dreamers Act, so that people can be eligible for a mortgage. And so things like that are happening. But I know that's not really the main question, right? So let's see here. Scrolling through, because there's actually several proposals by representatives, senators, but even if someone proposed something to make it better for immigration reform, it might not have the appropriate traction. For example, I'm looking at one that only has one co-sponsor, and this has to do with establishing regional processing centers to improve asylum and credible fear processes. And then, okay, well, that's strange. That just kind of went away. Okay, and here's another one. And really to help with the backlog with the court system. And then there's another one by a Republican, actually, Asylum Reform and Border Protection Act of 2021. And let's see how many sponsors he has. 0. So this happens all the time. I mean, it's probably very, let's see, he wants to make it difficult. This is a Republican, so he wants to make it difficult for people to obtain status, of course. So we don't care about that. So I'm not even going to discuss it. That 0 co-sponsors right now. So that doesn't matter. Okay, but I know I see a question about the DREAM Act. Okay, people asking about that and what Biden said about immigration at the State of the Union. He didn't talk too much about it. If you had a chance to watch it, I'm sure you know, but he really did not talk too much about what's going on. Compared to like infrastructure and the George Floyd police reform bill proposal that he wants to get passed before the 1-year anniversary of his death, which I believe was May 8th or sometime early May. So that's coming up very soon. So he really wanted to push this, right? So yes, he did mention about immigration at his at his first State of the Union on his 99th day in office. That's from what I understand, 99 days. So he did mention he wants to confront immigration. He wants to do something about it. But we all know he needs to get a lot of people on board. 60 senators, and we have 50 right now. And one person being Kamala Harris, right? We all know that. Some of y'all have been asking, what does this talk about reconciliatory passage, this pathway to pass a bill with only 51 senators? It certainly is possible. I've heard of experts who talked about if they want to amend a bill or a law that's already passed, American Rescue Act or American Rescue Plan that had related to COVID. That's a possibility. Amend that and include immigration in that, or maybe tuck it in or pass it with the infrastructure bill. Okay, so with some, it's about climate change, jobs in general for infrastructure and climate change reform as well. So that's a possibility, but I know that President Biden, from what I've seen, is not talking too much about it. Okay, not pushing as hard as he is in terms of infrastructure or the George Floyd Police Reform Act. And there's a reason why. He mentioned this a couple months ago, that there's timing. You have to wait for the right time. If you think about it, right, it's 101 days. I think his State of the Union was 2 days ago. And so it's only been a little over 3 months. We definitely want things to happen sooner than later, right? I definitely agree with you. Elvira Diaz says, let's finish the filibuster. I get it. I understand. But just thinking politically, both sides, I'm a moderate Democrat. So I think both sides, how are we going to get something passed? Because you get rid of filibuster, then imagine what Republicans can do in the future, right? For whatever reason, they can revoke something. You pass something now, and Republicans take over in a year or two. Hopefully not, but if they take over, then in that situation, then Democrats will be in a bad situation because they try to, for example, get rid of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and they missed it by 1 vote, and that was John McCain when he was still alive. And he was just deathly sick at the time. So imagine how serious this was for him to get up and get to the Senate floor to vote no to revoke the Affordable Care Act. So it's not as simple as people think, where you can just get rid of filibuster. That would be great, but then put it back to the current situation. Maybe that's a possibility. But that's why President Biden says they want to try to get it done a bipartisan way. But in my opinion, of course, if it's only going to be dreamers and TPS holders, then they need to pass something first, because it's been 21 years of them talking about this. It's a bunch of talk. So they need to start acting, right? They need to start doing something. So even though I would encourage you to write to or even if they have an electronic submission online to your elected official's website, I recommend that, right? And I recommend telling them that if you're an essential worker, what type of job you have. You don't have to tell them where you work. You don't have to give them personal details like that. But they want to know where you live. Are you, a constituent is what we call it. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen to ask or tell your elected official what you're looking for. Now, voting, on the other hand, or registering to vote, you don't want to do that. Please don't. That is a permanent bar if you do and you're not a citizen. So please be careful of that. Okay, I can definitely go into more detail, but I do see I have some questions here. Sorry about that. I need to drink more water. Okay, so Alan, hopefully I answered your question a little bit there. Elvira, you're watching from Nevada. Thanks. Ali, Nice to see you. Tommy, you have a question here. You filed for U visa with all the paperwork, I guess you mean evidence, but your medical therapy papers back. Okay, filed it in September 2019. Okay, so about a year and a half ago, something like a little more than a year and a half ago. I guess almost 2 years now, right? What do you do about that? And will it affect your process without the medical therapy papers on file? So it depends what you filed already to the USCIS. For example, our clients may receive, after filing, maybe 1 or 2 years later, receive a letter from the government, USCIS, saying you're prima facie eligible and you have deferred action for now, meaning the government is not going to remove the client from the United States or start removal proceedings for deportation, in immigration court. So that's a good thing. So I guess my question is to you, Tommy, if you have received something like that, a letter saying prima facie eligible, okay? A deferred action letter, essentially. That's what it could be, because it's been almost 2 years. And that's because in general, you might know this already, Tommy, but it takes about 5 years to, there's a 5-year backlog for these visas, U visa. And for y'all that don't know, U visa is an immigration benefit to where you can get a visa first for 3 years, and then later apply for, after the 3-year mark, apply for the green card. Okay, but you cannot apply for the green card after 4 years. I mean, you can try, but there's a deadline of 4 years with the visa. Okay, so you definitely need to consider that. Or if you know someone who's been a victim of a crime, that's what this is for. If you've been a victim of crime, even if it's a partner or boyfriend, girlfriend who's not a U.S. citizen or resident, that's okay. The important thing is to call 911 to report this crime against you. Okay, you need to have a report. I've been fortunate to where I didn't have a report for clients, at least in terms of immigration court, not for U visa, but and we were able to get counseling letters, shelter letters, and notes from the shelter to show that my client was going through something. Okay, even without police report. So it can, even though you may not have like the holy grail evidence, then it might still work for you, Tommy. Okay, and anyone else. But usually for U visa specific, you definitely need to report to police or sheriff department, depending where you live, because you need to eventually get a certification form called 918B for the designated person in the specific law enforcement department to sign it, to show that you've been cooperating. So that's why it's important to report it to police or sheriff department. Okay, any topic I could literally talk all day about it and give tips. Mary, so Tommy, hopefully that was helpful to you in some way. Mary, thanks. How are you? How long is the process for green card granted refugee? Well, let's see. Let me see if I can look that up. Okay. I'm sure you have to have a certain wait time until you can apply to obtain residency. Let's see here. Okay. Processing time. Well, on average is about 1 year. I can tell you that, but I was trying to see if I can look it up on the uscs.gov website. Let's see here, 485. Do you know which service center you're looking at, Mary? Have you already filed your application? Let me know, but I'm just going to click California Service Center for now. Okay, that one's only employment-based. Okay, Elena, nice to see you. Thanks for always tuning in. Appreciate it. And okay, 485. Okay, let me click on Nebraska. I keep forgetting which specific service center is located, because eventually, once we send it to one office with USCIS, that internally USCIS will just send it to another office. So let's see. By the way, friends, I did a training, like free tips, yesterday with a group called Text Legal. It's basically insurance, kind of like health insurance, but for legal needs. And I was sharing some tips that I'd like to share with you now, actually. And if you are filing your case on your own, go ahead. But I do recommend, of course, having a consultation at least with a lawyer, and just be honest with the lawyer. Look, I'm considering to file on my own, because lawyers get a bad taste. To be honest, I talked to a lot of attorneys, and for us, we do offer free 15 minutes, but it's easier for us to understand if you're looking to file on your own and you want certain tips. That's why for us we have free guides. If you look down below, that's why we offer that just straight out the box. So it might just solve that question and answer that question for you. But let's see here. Okay, Mary, I'm still trying to find it just based on asylum or refugee. Okay, I found it at the 45 application for Nebraska Service Center, Mary. It's 9 to 14 months in general, but specifically for refugee admission, after it's been 1 year, it's 8. Yeah, it says 8 to 14 months. Okay, so it's actually better than a lot of other cases, actually, because employment base is 12 to 29 months, which is pretty freaking ridiculous. Okay, so for refugee, if you're not familiar, I may have had a video about this before about how to contact USCIS and submit inquiry. By the way, another free tip for y'all: you can't just submit inquiry online anytime you want. You have to wait until the cutoff time. I think it's ridiculous, but the cutoff time for refugees is the receipt notice. If you have a receipt notice on your receipt, if it shows March 6th, any date before March 6th, 2020, then you can inquire. Or submit inquiry. Best way to do it is online. I recommend don't call in. I mean, if you're having trouble doing it online, then call into the 1-800 number. I think 375-5283. It'd be crazy if I memorize this. It's been a decade. But what else to share with you? So hopefully it helps save you some time. It is frustrating. But the cutoff inquiry date is different for every type of case and different for every service center or location, okay? Let's see here. Tommy. Oh, I don't want to skip around, but Roberto, you just want to transfer your case. Let's transfer to New York City. Okay. How many times your file can take? Oh, I guess the process to get to the embassy. Your case just got transferred to NVC. Sorry, I don't know why I thought I saw New York City because Elena said she's online from NYC. So New York National Visa Center, it takes about, well, to understand your question better, I think you're asking how long does it take to get, if you mean how long does it take to get from USCIS to the National Visa Center after your petition is approved? On average, 1 month. Okay, we've had cases in 2 weeks. They'll email us the case number specific to National Visa Center. So by the way, friends, if you have not filed an application before and you're going through consular processing or have an immigrant beneficiary family member abroad outside US, the first step is file a petition with USCIS, and then after that is approved, you'll get a different case number just with National Visa Center, okay? Because you're required to pay some fees. If it's for immigrant visas, $445 per person, okay, for the government fee on that one, for the National Visa Center. So how many? Oh, but your question is, okay, how long will get to the embassy? So your real question is about the interview, is what I understand. That is just, to be honest, very undetermined. Every time someone schedules a consultation and definitely has a question about similar question like yours, or I have this question every day, multiple times a day: is K1 fiance visa better than marriage pathway, immigrant visa? There's a lot of different scenarios. I'm pretty sure I created a video about that, but if not, I will definitely write that down. But because this takes at least 30 minutes just to talk about that. Okay, but so I mention this because both pathways I always check during the consultation what the current month or the past month, how many visas have been issued at that particular consulate that would be assigned for the immigrant beneficiary. And that's important because, not to say you shouldn't apply anymore, it just means that, at least you want to get an idea of the trends of if the consulates are open. So Roberto, I think that's your main question probably is your consulate embassy even open? And then how many cases are they even processing? Because I just saw a few, it was today or yesterday, I think it was Ghana. They only had 9 fiance visas issued. That's very low. And that was in March 2021. Okay. Whereas some other countries, like Mexico, I think it was about 100 something just for March. So and then the Accra, the consulate at Accra or embassy at Accra, Ghana, didn't mention anything on the website about being closed or temporarily closed. So I don't know what the heck's going on over there, but if they're not closed, then why are they so slow about having interviews, right? Because essentially, visa interview means next step is getting the visa issued. So that's why a lot of people, like probably Roberto, is asking this question. All right, so hopefully that answers your Roberto. It's difficult for me to give a straight answer in terms of like how many specific months. I wish the government would tell us, but that's why we provide the trends. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit. All right. 2125 noon. Your name is, I might mispronounce this, Isagani Silvestre. You overstayed with B1, B2. When can you file for the amnesty? Okay, first of all, please don't call it amnesty because Republicans, conservatives will use that against us, because that means amnesty just means like blanket for everyone who's undocumented. Sure, that would be great if Congress could offer that, but I already know it's not going to be a full blanket that every undocumented or overstayed immigrant can get this. Okay, it's going to be depending on very specific situations. So, Isagani, if you are just considering about the immigration reform talks, you might want to watch some of our previous videos so you get an idea of what's going on with Congress if you're just now tuning in. Okay, because it's only a proposal. You can't file anything right now. Okay, so if that's what you're wondering about. But, you could qualify for something else in general. So if anyone, you're not, a lot of people are thinking about immigration reform because you may not know what you could be eligible for. A lot of people think it's only, you have to be married to a U.S. citizen. And that's the only way. I'm married. I get it. Getting married to someone or the decision to get married to someone, it's huge. It's huge. It's a trajectory for the rest of your life. I get it. So not too many people are always so gung-ho and like, I want to get married. I get it. So, but there could be other visa options. Of course, it is possibly better. There are scenarios for other people, right? If you don't have status right now, but obviously if you're here like on a visitor visa, we get calls all the time. They're considering to extend their visitor visa because of pandemic or whatever reason like that. And they can't go back to their country of nationality or birth. But we always suggest another option that's more long-term than just extending the visitor visa, because that's only max 6 months. So we try to provide a more big picture idea on what you could do. So if you're here on a visitor visa, also contact us as soon as possible, because if you've been living here for a couple months, you might realize why people want to stay in America. I get it. But even if you're overstayed, contact us. Our number's down below. If you're just now joining, we do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion. Just see if we can point you in the right direction. Even if you don't have the financial means right now to hire a lawyer, we just want to be able to point you in the right direction. That's very important to us because we hear a lot of really bad stories out there, depending on just information on blogs and blogs not created by the government or created by attorneys. I'm talking about those blogs that's by non-attorneys. Okay. So be careful about that. Okay. So that's why we do offer the free 15 minutes. But friends, if you already want a lawyer and you need more time than 15 minutes, we do offer 30 minutes and 45 minutes for a fee. All right. So let's see here. Tommy, you said, oh, I'm sorry you were robbed at gunpoint on 3 occasions. I feel like you may have told me this before, because 3, okay, that's I'm sorry you had to go through that. Okay, once in 2011, second one in 2015, and the third time in 2017. Okay, well, maybe you and I need to talk separately because we need to find a way to get you protected. Okay, so but hopefully you don't have to go through this again. Um, oh, 2020 again. Okay, well, that's a 4 times. 4 times total. Okay, and after filing, will those all police reports help the application? I think that's what you mean. Uh, well, I don't know which one you filed, right? But yes, in general, you really only need one incident. You don't need multiple, right? You just seem to have a string of bad luck there. Um, but please be careful of your surroundings, especially during this past year or two with Asian hate against Asian Americans for some odd reason. Please be careful. I really don't understand it. It seems to be happening more on the East Coast and West Coast. I'm here in Texas. There's been a couple stories here, but not as frequent as the East and West Coast of America. Um, Tommy, I hope that you already filed it. So, but in a situation for others that have a similar question, and you're wondering, for example, which one to use, which police report, any of them. But of course, pick the one that, I mean, with the suggestion of your attorney, which one can be viewed as the strongest, right? It doesn't necessarily mean the crime has to be stronger, but if you have that opportunity to choose, then I would do that. But also, you want to try one, depending on your jurisdiction of your law enforcement where this happened. Some jurisdictions, police departments or sheriff, they say they have a policy where they can only accept that the person who's seeking this U visa needs to ask for this certification form to be signed within a certain number of years. Like some places say 2 years, 3 years. So that's why I'm sharing. Recently been talking more about U visa to share this, that this is a possibility to apply for immigration benefit if you've been a victim of a crime. But again, you have to report this to police or the sheriff department, okay? Because you need that second form signed. And we help with all of that, okay? When a client hires us, we take care of all the forms, provide you advice from start to finish, all the way until you get your visa. All right. Sure, happy to help. God bless you and everyone watching. Please stay safe. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark because I got to get back to work for y'all. But if you have any questions, please drop it in here. But if it's not enough time, then please schedule a consultation, okay? You'll see our number right there. We're also available on, okay, another thing is, who is tired of waiting, right? You've been waiting for your visa interview. In some scenarios, we suggest filing a lawsuit, but, for example, you can be waiting on your appointment, your interview, marriage interview with USCIS at your local office in the United States, or you already had the interview. You already had the interview and you've been waiting for 4 months or more. Okay. The government's supposed to provide you a decision in 4 months or less after the interview. Okay. So within that time period. So if you've been waiting longer than that, contact us. Let's strategize to see if filing a lawsuit will be helpful to you. And for the most part, it's helpful to everyone because the government is not saying they're trying. And some people ask, is filing lawsuit mean they're going to deny my case? That's certainly a possibility, but is the action of filing lawsuit going to affect their case? No, it does not. It's not supposed to. If it's been going to be denied, it has to be done on a legal reason based on the facts of your case. Okay, not based on the fact that you filed a lawsuit. That's not allowed. That would be a violation of due process rights. Okay, so that's what we got here in America: due process rights. You just have to be able to exercise them and use them when appropriate, when you can do that. And some people don't know about this, so that's why I continually share this information. But friends, contact us here if you have a question. Give us a call, text us, and share this not so secret code. And our CARES team will contact you within 24 business hours. Okay. And I hope that helps. Okay. Tommy, I see you just posted something. It sounds like, you just want a little more information. Please fill out the intake form, and our team will get in touch with you, friends. And until next time, please continue wearing your mask. Bye-bye.